Hello everyone. I got this comment from Tanmay to make a video on ECS and different scenarios. So yes, ECS is a very important concept of AWS. So I have splitted this topic in parts. This is the first part where we'll understand what is ECS, what are the main components of ECS. Then I will understand about each component and how it looks like how we can search it on AWS console. And then if we need to design a microservice application architecture, if we want to deploy it on ECS, how we will do it. Like, just understand the steps. On later part of video we'll try to demonstrate it. So without further ado, let's start the series. So ECS is Elastic Container Service, and it's a container orchestration tool like Kubernetes. It's also a container orchestration tool where we can deploy our Dockerized application, and ECS will manage the scaling, the self-healing part, the rolling deployments, everything's like Kubernetes. But ECS is native to AWS. So basically, Kubernetes is an open source tool, and it is it's not restricted to any platform. But ECS is native to AWS, and integration with AWS like the monitoring tool and the managing part and other services of AWS is quite easier, and it's manageable more. So it's like a container orchestration tool. But the main components of ECS is, first of all, cluster. Cluster is like grouping of resources, when we group of so it will help in isolation of applications. So that's why if there is any resource where we need to of a particular application, we can create a cluster and then create the resources inside that cluster. Then next is task definition. So this task definition, you can if you know Kubernetes, you can correspond it to the YAML files that we write. So basically, task definition is the task definition will create running task. Whatever task definition will be given, it will create a running task, and a task will create containers. So just like that, we write the YAML files. So task definition are like those YAML files where we mention our images, our CPU count, our container port, our memory, and everything like port mappings. So then these task definition, when it will launch, it will create task, and task will create containers according to the desired count. Services are like so task is basically the running operations of task definitions. Services are like a manager. So whatever tasks are running, so services will manage, like it will manage the that whether it is maintaining desired count. If the task failed or something happened to the task, then the new task will get created from the task definition. Self-healing, when we have to integrate with load balancer, we use services only to find out the to map the load balancer thing, health checks, rolling deployments, auto scaling to maintain the desired count. So it manages auto scaling too. Services are like managers. So whenever we need to create ECS, when we go to AWS console, we search for ECS, we need to create cluster first, then the task definition, and after creating a task, we need to create the services. Okay. So task definition will look like this: family, nginx task. So basically, if we are going to create an nginx container, then whatever container definition we want to give, like name, image, whatever image we'll use, memory, CPU, port mapping. Now the other thing is the launch type of ECS. So basically, we can launch the containers on two services, EC2 and AWS Fargate. So either we can use, if we want our containers to run on EC2 or application to run on EC2, then we can choose EC2. We get this option on console. Or so EC2 is like, it's like we will have to manage the servers on which our application is running. So like patching of the patching inside the servers, or if server is not starting, or something has crashed, then the start stop time, everything we can manage. So EC2 provides more control and it's less costly. And the other option is AWS Fargate. So Fargate is a serverless architecture. By serverless, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have servers. It will have servers, it will run on servers, but Fargate, it will be managed by AWS, all the servers. So basically the patching and everything will be managed by AWS. So we don't have to manage the Fargate. If Fargate stops running or something happened, then we don't have to manage, it will be managed by AWS. So we have less control, it's more easier, but it's costly. So there are two launch types that we can choose during creating a ECS, or creating a cluster. And so we can choose on what service, EC2 or AWS Fargate, we want to run our applications on. So suppose we have a microservice architecture where we have front end, we have orders, so then we have payment. So these are the microservice that we have created. We have return. So these are the microservices we have written. So what we'll do now, if we have to deploy it on ECS, then we need to first dockerize these microservice using a Docker, where we'll create the Docker file and the Docker image of each microservice. After creating a Docker file, we will create a cluster. After creating a cluster, we will create a task definition, and we will create task definition for each microservice, because we have to give the image of that particular microservice in that task definition. After creating the task definition, we need to create the services for each task definition. So we'll create service, like for front end service will be created, order service will be created, payment service, return service will be created. Then we can configure load balancer. So first of all, we after creating the service, we need to do the service discovery, because for the microservice connection, or the communication to happen, the API communication to happen, these services should be discoverable. So we need to use AWS service to make the service discovery happen, so that the communication can happen within the microservice architecture. After that, we will go for load balancer configuration, okay, and then we can go for auto scaling, and then in this way we can we can configure the DNS. So this is the whole kind of flow that we will use to create a ECS, to deploy an application on ECS, but more deeper with more detail, and the session I will show in the upcoming video, so stay tuned. So that's all for today's video. I hope it's helpful. Please let me know views on the comment section. Till then, take care. Bye.